And welcome to the third episode of the NDP Football Podcast, Splat in your ear. I am your host, Matt Palash, and let's get this show on the road. Starting out, we are going to be talking about the Irish absolutely crushing Divine Child, 38-0. And boy, I tell you, the Falcons of Divine Child are doing anything but flying. Wow, they just get smacked. And then we'll be moving on to preview the homecoming football game, the most exciting time of the year for football. And the Irish are going to be fired up to play this game against the Bears. Berkley High School. So let's talk about the game against Divine Child. Absolute bulldozing. They just crushed them. My goodness. I mean, Divine Child didn't stand a chance in the beginning. I mean, and you know where I should start? I should start with the Michigan High School Football Offensive Player of the Week, and also the Offensive Impact Player of the Week, Mr. Jacob Benson. What a game. 12 for 22 with not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 touchdown passes. What a performance. And I happened to be at the Lions game on Sunday, but I saw a couple of people taking videos. They had highlights of NDP and Divine Child during a commercial break right before they went flashback to the game, and they were showing a couple highlights of Jacob making some really nice throws. So it was a big game for him. Some other thoughts on the game. Defensively, so strong. The D-line was money. Absolute money. I mean, we're going to have Blake Bur on later, and he made such a big difference. When it came to stopping the run, he was shedding blocks. He was playing phenomenal. Nayland Fox just throws kids around. He's just so dominant. I know he's primarily an offensive lineman, but he is a pretty darn good defensive lineman. Andrew Villa, always consistent on the D-line. Very strong performance for the D-line. And look at the linebackers. Alex Whalen had a huge game. He was a contender for the Defensive Player of the Week, which we will reveal once we get our guest Blake Bur on. He had a huge game. I think at this point, at every podcast we're gonna talk about Kanagashi because it just keeps playing well. I'm not sure of the stat line, but I think it was pretty good. And watching the film, I thought he played very well. And as I said, his vision keeps getting better. The receivers played exceptionally well. Ethan Johnson, I thought I was watching an NFL receiver out there. He had a ball in the end zone, caught it, basket catch, but he was looking over the shoulder, kept his feet in bounds, and it was just a really nice play. Clayton Bone had a play where he ran out. I wouldn't call it like a curl. He just kind of ran out there and caught it, and then he just took off like an absolute rocket shot right through the hole. And the Divine Child DBs they couldn't stop him. Ryan Cuny has been playing very well these last few games. He had another big game. So the receiving core is playing very well. I'm going to flip on the defensive side again for the defensive backs. Daniel Heimbuch, I thought, played a very, very good game. It was really solid. Caleb Webb, our defensive player of the week last week, Caleb played another very solid game. And actually, this homecoming, Dan was nominated for Homecoming King. We will see if he wins it. It'll be interesting. So, speaking of homecoming, we are now going to move on to previewing the homecoming football game. Let's talk a little bit about Berkley. Berkley, 0-3. Lost to Brandon, North Farmington, and Royal Oak. The game against Brandon, 42-13. Got smoked. game against North Farmington, 42-6. They got crushed again. And the game against Royal Oak, they lost 17-7. But at the same time, you can't let those results fool you. They are a very dangerous team. A lot of talent on that roster. But this game is going to be a personal one. Coach Fox used to coach at Berkley. He, along with the rest of the players, is going to have even more fire. But it's homecoming, maybe the biggest game of the year. And one thing is for sure, Coach Fox will bring the lightning. Hopefully the players will bring the thunder. And in my opinion, I think they will. I predict NDP to win this game. And I think the Irish fans and the Irish alumni are going to have a little bit of a happier drive home. So to start out homecoming 3-0 is something that, is really key. I mean, they didn't have the toughest part of the schedule, but they played some good teams and they beat up on all of them. I think if they can just keep this pace going, I think this team is going to be really good, and I think they will win at homecoming. But it should be a fun event. I am going to be there, as I always will, for all home games. And the stands are going to be packed. Make sure you get there early, because those stands are going to fill up. It's always a really fun game. In 2017, I remember when I was a sophomore in high school, we mobbed the field after the Irish won their game. And it's just going to be a really, really fun event. So, I think now it is time to present our Lineman Love of the Week award. And this week it's going to left guard. Antonio Pop takes it home. I thought Pop did a really nice job in all facets. I thought he did a nice job run blocking, pass blocking, and I thought he did a really nice job blocking, not only on the first level, but on the second level. So, Antonio Pop, Lineman Love of the Week. And now it is time for our guest. Now I'd like to welcome to the podcast our special guest today, Mr. Blake Bur. Blake, it's great to have you on. How's everything going today?
It's going great. Thanks for having me on, Splat.
It's my pleasure. So, there is a reason we haven't talked about our Defensive Player of the Week, and that is because he happens to be sitting right next to me. Mr. Blake Bur, Defensive Player of the Week. Well done.
Thank you very much, Splat. It's an honor. All credit to the rest of the defense, making plays and freeing up gaps for me to be able to make plays. But, yeah, it's all a team effort.
A humble winner. You got to love it. So, a couple quick questions. How does it feel, going into homecoming undefeated? It's got to feel good, right?
Yeah, it's a good step. We're 3-0 right now, but it's not enough. We got to keep working hard, and we can't stay satisfied because we started 3-0 last season, and you know how that turned out. So we got to keep working.
Yeah. Speaking of last season, last year at homecoming, the Irish played Portland. Unfortunately, they did lose 27-0 in a rainy game, and they're going to be looking to avoid repeating that. I was actually on the broadcast call for that one, and it was a chilly one. But they will be looking to do something somewhat like what they did in 2017. They defeated Waterford Kettering 17-0, and the students section rushed onto the field when the game was over. I remember that, and I was part of that rush. That was a pretty cool moment. So I do have a picture with me right now, Blake. Last night, the Powder Puff game happened. And
it did. Seniors and freshmen, 28-0 victory. Shout out the girls playing hard.
So I have a picture of you, Connor Long, Connor Geschke, Nayland Fox, Joe St. Andre, Ethan Johnson, and Bryce Rich. And you and Joe especially, I'm really liking the outfits. The shirt and the tie is a very classy move. Yeah. I'm liking it a lot.
Got to go all class for the game. It was a big game. Lots of preparation went into it, and good game planning and some spectacular plays made it happen.
So I guess we would call the seniors superior coaches to the junior coaches then, right?
I think that's fair to say. Yeah, I would have liked to see a better coaching effort from the opposing team, but they tried. They tried their hardest.
It's always a fun event every year, and let's flip back onto the actual football part. You've been on the varsity team for 3 years, and every year I find that you produce with consistency. What has been a key for you to be able to do that?
Honestly, it's the coaching. The coaching has been getting better every season that I've been here, bringing in new coaches, and just the consistent reps in practice always helps out. And going up against really good players on the scout teams when I have someone like Nalen Fox lined up in front of me in practice every day, it makes my competition in games seem that much easier. So.
Yeah, I have noticed the coaching, just going through, I've noticed there's a lot more, I find, defensive looks. I thought schematically, watching the film last game that, he's definitely changing it up. I mean, I kind of feel like this year you're a little more less on the interior, a little more on the exterior, as opposed to last year. I thought you were more like kind of all on the interior.
Yeah, I feel like last year we kind of relied pretty heavily on our D line, and we had some solid defensive backs. But I feel that this year everybody has more experience, everybody's more comfortable in their positions, and helps us to be able to make plays and be closer as a defense.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think allows this team to excel better than the previous teams you've been on? I think. Was it 2017? Did you guys go to the playoffs?
It is 2017. We lost in the district championship.
It was to Williamston. What has been, what's really kind of, this team, watching you guys, since I was a freshman, to me, this is probably the best team we've had since I've been in high school. What do you think has, made this team so much better and so much kind of stronger and tightly knit than, let's just say, previous years?
What's special about this team is we're all just really motivated and we're all focused on the same goal. So working towards that same goal brings us closer together as a team, and we're really all just looking to go out there and win every week, and we're focused on only that.
So, homecoming weekend this weekend, one of the most exciting times of the year. How is the homecoming game different as a football player, just from like any other home game?
The homecoming game is always the most fun game of the year for me. Just the nerves before the game, the big crowd, everybody's there, family coming back in town to watch, all the alumni. It's a great feeling, and that feeling you get in the tunnel before you run out, nothing compares to it.
So let's switch a little bit towards Berkley High School. What are some of the things that we should, expect to see from them?
Berkley looks like a really solid team right now. They're very physical, and they have a lot of very talented players, and they can make plays. They have one defensive lineman who's got some Division I offers, so we're gonna have to look into stopping him and just making plays around the field.
So, Coach Fox at one time coached at Berkley High School, correct?
That is true.
So, is this game going to be a little more personal to you guys because of the fact that he once coached there?
Yeah, the Berkley game's always a big one. Coach Fox is the winningest winningest coach in Berkley school history. So we always want to go out there and get some revenge for Coach Fox and show him that NDP is a better school.
Absolutely, I love the attitude. So one final interview question before we move on to trivia. What is your go-to pregame music?
My go-to pregame music, it's got to be rap. I don't know, whatever I'm feeling that day. Maybe some Young Thug. It's all up to the boys. Swag Surfing, of course, the intro song. Maybe some Dog Food by 42 Doug.
I like it. I used to be a big fan of kind of like the same genre, like rap. Just gets you going, just gets the adrenaline pumping, and I love it. So let's move on to the trivia. So question number 1:
Who was the Detroit Lions' most recent first-round pick?
I believe it was the tight end T.J. Hawkinson out of Iowa.
That is correct, 1 for 1. And just a reminder, if Blake gets 4 out of 5, I'll be buying him a Gatorade. I forgot to get Joe his Gatorade. I have to get that
boy.
now. I have to get Joe his Gatorade. But so far, good start, 1 for 1. We'll see if I gotta buy 2 Gatorades. How many teams are in the NFL?
32.
2 for 2. That is correct again. Third question. Who is the head coach of the Detroit Lions?
Matt Patricia.
3 for 3. Now, after this, the first 3, usually pretty easy questions. After that, it gets a little bit tougher. Fourth question. Which player put a 50-year curse on the Detroit Lions?
Oh, boy. I don't think I know that one, Splat. It could be my best guess, Barry Sanders.
No, that is unfortunately incorrect. It
That's
is
a shame.
Bobby Lane. He, when the Detroit Lions traded Bobby, he said, you won't win a Super Bowl for 50 years, and they proceeded to go even longer than 50 years without winning a Super Bowl or even coming close to appearing in one.
It's Lions years, baby. 15-0-1.
It's happening. I believe in it. Final question. Who lost in the college football championship game of last year?
That would be Alabama.
And that is correct. 4 out of 5, a free Gatorade for Mr. Bur. And I now owe 2 different people a Gatorade. So, Blake, it was an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you for coming on. And always remember, Irish fans, stay classy.